Alrighty, so hello and welcome. We've actually got a few updates. So, hi, my name's Jovan. I'm a 3D artist and I like to stream some of my content along the way as well. I do layout for a job and I've been working on some spec ads in the past week, and I've made a plan for the next few weeks to work on a new spec ad each week. And we're just documenting the whole journey and following along to see how we go. So, I've got a little summary document here, a little weekly update for the first week of streaming, because I've done, some streaming in the past. This was the first week I decided I'm going to hammer down and actually start pumping out some content. I'm going to try and stream every single day or as much as I can and see how we go. Now, I started this, planning to start it on a Monday, and almost instantly we were ill, which was great. I unfortunately got sick over the weekend prior to this and couldn't kick it, couldn't really get the energy there, and decided I'm going to hit the ground running, no more excuses, as they say, and actually properly start this project on the Wednesday. So we started with our first ever spec ad stream, where we decided to model a suitcase. Now, this was something that was based off an Instagram post that I found from this amazing company called Flare Studios, and they've made some really cool stuff that I've seen in the past. I highly recommend checking them out. I'll link in the description, linked below. But they've got some really cool, nice cinematic ads. Saw them scrolling through Instagram and thought, this is an awesome ad. I want to see if I can try and recreate that in my own little version. So that's what we started to do. So from the beginning, we decided we're going to make a suitcase that was inspired by a real life one, based on the July suitcase, which I have seen tons of ads for and actually ended up getting myself. But to avoid, any sort of legal issues if they did come up, I just adjusted a few things, and instead of July, I put my own name as branding on there. So as far as the first stream goes, we decided to try and do dual streaming on YouTube and Twitch. And my reason for this was that I sort of knew how Twitch streaming worked. I wasn't 100% sure about YouTube streaming, but I wanted to sort of do a test between the two of them, see how engagement with both sides worked, and see if there was one or the other that I preferred. Mainly a little experiment, seeing what streaming platform I did prefer. And you'll kind of see by the end of this video which one is more successful for streaming. There is a pretty clear winner, but I haven't fully decided on which way I'm going to go. So we'll continue with the dual streaming. I think by the end of the month I want to make a final decision on which direction I want to go in. For the first stream that we did, I streamed for about an hour. There were a total of, as you can see, 6 max viewers on Twitch and 3 on YouTube. We had 246 minutes watched on Twitch, which is really cool, with some really active chatting as well, which we'll get to later on in the video. But a huge thanks to my day one chatter, Ron, who's been there this whole time and just provided some really engaging moments as well, which has been amazing. So thank you. As you can see, just 72 chat messages was awesome. And what was really cool was that in the first part of this journey, we actually got a raid as well from a page called Necromancy. So huge shout out as well to you. Thank you so much. It was really cool seeing that little influx come in as well at the end. And we had some chatters come through there as well. And it was a really cool experience because, when you are streaming, to 0, 1, sometimes 2 viewers or people are jumping in and out, it's cool. Even right now, I think I've got 1 viewer on YouTube and 1 viewer on Twitch, which I think are just myself. But it's nice seeing, it's cool being able to talk to a camera, sort of go off the book like that and sort of commentate what I'm doing. But it's really exciting is when you do see those messages pop up. It's hard to explain. It's really cool feeling to see that people are actually watching you and engaging. So that was really awesome. And I just want to thank everyone who did join in on the chatting this week. That was incredible. Our second stream, I went for over double the time. So in the first one, we were doing the basic modeling. In the second one, I did the finishing off parts of the modeling of the suitcase, and we did some texturing and some lighting and the camera work. It was essentially 40% of the project in the first one and 60% in the second stream, which is kind of reflected by the numbers here. So as you can see, we've got more hours, more minutes watched, more max live viewers, but less chat messages. So I think that was because we were rated in the first one. We got a whole bunch of chat messages there, but it was still super engaging because I did have some really cool feedback from both the YouTube and Twitch side. It was really cool seeing, when you're making something in Blender and then having people sort of give some advice and tips and feedback on, what's cool, what doesn't work, what does work. And it really is a nice learning experience. It's like being in a studio with someone. They're doing their own thing, you're doing your own thing, but you're able to sort of give each other little tips and tricks and bits of advice, which is really exciting to have. Then the final stream was where I rendered it offline because it was going to take way too long to render. shorter stream, much less viewers on YouTube. So I think what I've found is that on Twitch, when people do join in, they seem to watch for longer, it seems, and on YouTube it's harder to gain those initial viewers. But once they do join in, they do tend to stick as well. And I think this would probably be because Twitch does still have the stronghold on the streaming community. It was really interesting to see that sort of difference, especially in this final stream here, where you can really see the difference in minutes watched and engagement from people. Because on Twitch, they were sticking around for quite a lot longer than on the YouTube side of things. In this stream, we also decided to pick our next stream idea with a spin wheel. So our next stream idea is going to be based off a camera, which I'll get into in a little bit as well. We had that stream, I was planning on coming in on Saturday, but ended up just sort of waking up a little bit too late and I had to head off to a 10-11 hour shift. So I gave a little update on where I was. The plan was that Saturday was, as I said in this video, Saturday was the sort of rest day, and Sunday I was going to go full steam ahead and begin on the camera stream. Now, if you have jumped onto the Twitch or YouTube page, you might notice that I wasn't live on Sunday. It was because of this little guy. So I ended up in hospital on Sunday morning or Saturday night, Sunday morning. I'm gonna skip back so we don't have to look at this page because it's a little bit grim and gruesome. Essentially what happened was I was peeling some limes. I nicked myself, which you can kind of see on the back of my hand here. Nicked myself, I think the lime slipped, nicked it, and was like, oh, I gotta be careful. And not 10 seconds later, went again and took part of the nail off and part of the skin underneath that. So apologies if you are a little bit queasy with that, but yeah, I knew something was instantly wrong, went to the back bar, rinsed out my hand and wrapped a paper towel around it and realized, oh, this isn't stopping bleeding, which was great. So I decided to continue washing and wrapping and washing and wrapping. I kind of kept going through, and management really quickly came over and were extremely amazing throughout all of it. Sat me down, helped me out, bandaged everything up, and was straight away like, you gotta go to hospital, you gotta get this checked out. And that was kind of, public hospital on a Saturday night. I've been there before, it's gonna be, crazy shitstorm, long wait. And it's kind of umming and ahhing about going. And eventually I was like, no, okay, you know what, I will go just in case. And I'm thankful I did because it was continuing to bleed that whole time. So I walked over to RPA hospital and sat down in the waiting room expecting to be there for like 8-9 hours. It was full, it was not the place you want to be on a Saturday night. I was supposed to go out and actually meet some friends from a run club and ended up going here instead. But, I was lucky enough to have some incredible and like really, really helpful and friendly nurses and doctors who helped me out. I was in and out of there in like 3.5 hours, which was like surprisingly quick. It was like 2.5 hours of waiting, and then I had 2 hours waiting, then I had an x-ray making sure there wasn't a metal or bone that was sort of messing around in there. Then doctor came through, took it off, had a look, it's like, cool, doesn't look like there's any nerve damage because it was above the nail bed, which was perfect. Wrapped it up, put these little finger bits on. It's Monday now, so this is 2 days later. But yeah, this is what it looked like initially when you wrap the bandage on it. This is what it's like now, so you can kind of see what a bit of wear and tear does. I'm taking it off in 2 days' time to replace it and recheck. And essentially the story was, if it doesn't continue to bleed, then we're all good and dandy, and it'll be right to heal over the next couple of weeks. But yeah, essentially if you imagine, I'll use like this nail here for an example, put it into 4 little quarters. The top right quarter is gone, bit at the top there is gone, and just skin underneath is obviously gone. You can kind of see a little bit of blood is seeped through, but it's nothing major. So in saying that, it does also mean that it's quite sensitive to use a mouse at the moment, which is why I sort of took today off as a 3D modeling day. I'm trying to use my middle clicker, so I'm going to jump on tomorrow and try and use as much of the middle clicker as possible. But just a fair warning, that is going to be a slight little bit of a contention and struggle over the next so until I can get this thing off and it starts to heal properly, because it is pretty much like the front and top and a bit of that like middle bit there. Luckily the underneath wasn't injured at all, but pressing that, it does have a bit of a pain to it. So as far as fun updates go, first things first is a project that I worked on, I can finally speak about, project for the Apple Vision Pro. It's part of Disney Plus's like interactive sort of experiences that they're trying to release. I did a couple of Thanos shots, but it was like, I think like 3 shots in this. It was very small, but really cool. And yeah, I want to try to check this out. If you have a Vision Pro, I'd say check it out as well, because it was a fun thing to work on. I know looking over at people around me. There was some really cool stuff there. We did the cinematics and visual side of things, and I think ILM did the actual game design part of it. So I've only seen the sort of cinematic side of things, but it was a really cool project to work on, and I'm keen to check out more of that. Now, final slide, I think, is a special thanks to everyone who joined in this week. I've got some extra special thanks as well, but on the right here, we've got all of my Twitch followers. So we hit 11 followers, which is really, really cool. This past week, a super special thanks to, as I said, Necromancy for the raid last week, Mr. Potatoes for some great chats as well, and Bubbles Butternuts, and especially, most of all on the Twitch side, Ron, who's been there from the first day of this series and has jumped in every time to say hey, watch along. It's been really, really cool. Like, thank you so much for the support to everybody, but especially to yourself. It's been an incredible time so far, and I hope what I'm making is enjoyable to some people. And if it is, thanks for watching along with that. And these two here from the YouTube side, so Cillion as well, day one on the YouTube side of Trending. DBS gave some great tips as far as the color space management goes, and Cillion's just been there for some amazing support the whole way through, and has joined in each of the streams just like Ron. So thank you so much for joining in. This was just a little update to say hey, sort of gather the thoughts from the past week, say thank you to some people who I found, really just crucial and important over the past few days, and an update on where I've been, where we're going to be, and what we're going to do next. So cheers for jumping along. Thanks for joining in today, and I will see you all guys next time. Cheers.